Every year, millions set goals. They promise themselves they'll hit the gym, read more, work harder. But by February, those promises are forgotten. Why? Because they're chasing discipline without direction. They're focused on what they want to do instead of why they want to do it. 2025 isn't another year for empty resolutions. It's a year to set goals that matter, goals that drive, inspire, and create real change. Not just for you, but for the people around you. If you don't know why you wake up every morning, the alarm clock becomes an enemy, not an opportunity. Your first goal is to answer this: what excites me? What impact do I want to make? Start there. Forget the guilt-driven diets. Your energy fuels your success. Sleep better, move more, and treat your body like the vehicle of your ambition, not an afterthought. Success means nothing in isolation. Strengthen the relationships that matter. Call an old friend. Be present at the dinner table. Build a circle that challenges and supports you. The world moves fast. Stay ahead by making learning part of your routine. Read books, take courses, have conversations with people smarter than you. Knowledge is your greatest asset. 2025 will throw curveballs. Your job isn't to predict them, it's to be ready for anything. Learn to pivot, embrace change, and see challenges as opportunities, not roadblocks. The most fulfilled people aren't the ones who get the most. They're the ones who give the most. Find ways to serve through mentorship, volunteering, or simply being someone who lifts others up. Whether it's a project, a business, or a legacy of kindness, make 2025 the year you create something meaningful. Something that years from now, people will point to and say, that mattered. Ideas without execution are just dreams. The difference between those who wish and those who succeed is simple. Action. Start now, start small, but most importantly, start. 2025 is more than just another year. It's another chance. Another opportunity to align your goals with your purpose. Set goals that move you. Set goals that move the world. Every year, people set goals. They tell themselves that this will be the year they finally lose weight, wake up early, read more, or make more money. And yet, a few weeks in, motivation starts to fade. The gym membership goes unused. The alarm gets snoozed. The book gathers dust. Why does this happen? It's not a lack of discipline, it's not laziness, it's something far deeper. Most people set goals based on what they think they should do, not what truly drives them. They focus on what is visible, the actions, the habits, the results, but they skip the foundation. They forget to ask themselves the most important question: why? Imagine two people setting the same goal, running a marathon. One wakes up every morning at 5 a.m., laces up their shoes and runs. Rain or shine, the other struggles. Some days they get out of bed, other days they don't. The difference, it's not willpower, it's purpose. The first person has a reason bigger than just running. Maybe they lost someone to a preventable disease and they want to prove to themselves that health is a choice. Maybe they're running for a cause, raising money for a charity that changed their life. Maybe they're running to show their kids that commitment matters. The second person just set a goal. No deeper connection, no emotional fuel, just a number to hit. That's why so many resolutions fail. They start with what and forget the why. The truth is, discipline fades when it's fueled by obligation. People don't struggle with consistency because they're weak. They struggle because they're uninspired. The moment a goal becomes disconnected from meaning, it becomes a burden. Think about the most successful people in any field, the ones who push through failure, exhaustion, and setbacks, the ones who seem unstoppable. They're not superhuman. They just have clarity. They wake up every day knowing why they do what they do. Their goals aren't just boxes to check. They're part of a bigger mission. And that's the first goal you need to set for yourself in 2025. Define your why. Ask yourself, what excites me? What impact do I want to make? What problem do I want to solve? It doesn't have to be world-changing. It just has to be real. Some people find their why in their family. They want to be a role model for their kids. They want to break a cycle of struggle. They want to build something that outlives them. Others find their why in their work. They want to create, to innovate, to solve problems no one else has solved. Some find it in service, helping others, making an impact, lifting people up. Whatever it is, it has to matter to you. Because here's the thing, 2025 will not be easy. There will be moments when you don't feel like showing up, moments when the excitement fades, when obstacles seem bigger than your dreams. And in those moments, the only thing that will keep you going is your why. So how do you find it? First, stop looking at the surface. Don't just say, I want to get fit or I want to make more money. Dig deeper. Why? What's the real reason behind that goal? What pain are you trying to escape? What future are you trying to build? A person who says, I want to get fit will struggle, but a person who says, I want to get fit because I watch my father's health decline and I refuse to let that happen to me, will show up every day. A person who says, I want to make more money might lose motivation, but a person who says, I want to make more money because I grew up watching my mother struggle to pay rent and I want to give my family a better life will keep going long after the excitement fades. The deeper your reason, the stronger your commitment. Second, align your goals with your values. If your goal doesn't excite you, you're chasing the wrong thing. Too many people set goals based on what society tells them they should want. They chase things that don't truly fulfill them. They say they want to climb the corporate ladder, but deep down they crave freedom, not promotions. They say they want to start a business, but what they really want is more time with their family, and entrepreneurship won't give them that right now. They say they want to lose weight, but what they truly need is self-acceptance. When you set a goal that isn't aligned with your values, you will always feel resistance. You will procrastinate, get frustrated, and eventually quit, not because you're weak, but because you're chasing the wrong thing. Third, turn your why into a habit. Knowing your purpose is one thing, living it is another. It's easy to feel inspired when you first set a goal, but motivation fades. That's why the most successful people don't rely on it. Instead, they build habits that keep them connected to their purpose. They remind themselves every day why they started. They write it down. They talk about it. They surround themselves with people who keep them accountable. They don't just think about their why, they embody it. And when setbacks come, and they will, they don't see them as signs to quit. They see them as tests of commitment. That's the difference between people who achieve their goals and those who don't. The ones who succeed aren't necessarily the smartest, the strongest, or the most talented. They're the ones who have a reason to keep going when things get tough. Because at the end of the day, talent can only take you so far. Hard work can only take you so far. Motivation can only take you so far. But a deep, unshakable purpose, that will carry you through anything. So as you step into 2025, don't just set goals, define your why, and when you do, you won't just change your year, you'll change your life. Now let's make this year count. Every year, people make the same promise to themselves. This is the year I'll get in shape. They sign up for a gym membership, buy new running shoes, maybe even try a strict diet. And for the first few weeks, they're all in. They wake up early, push themselves, and start tracking their progress. But then something happens. Life gets busy, work gets stressful, the motivation fades. Suddenly, skipping a workout seems easier. Eating whatever is convenient makes more sense. One missed day turns into 2, then a week, then a month, and before they know it, they're back where they started, frustrated, discouraged, and wondering why they can't stay consistent. This cycle repeats every year. But the problem isn't a lack of discipline, it's not willpower, it's not even a bad plan. The real problem is how people think about their health. Most people see health as an obligation, not a strategy. They think of fitness as something they have to do rather than something that fuels everything else in their life. They treat it like a temporary task instead of a lifelong foundation, and that's why so many struggle to maintain it. Think about it. If health feels like a burden, why would anyone stay consistent? If working out is just another chore on the to-do list, it will always be the first thing to go when life gets stressful. But what if health wasn't a chore? What if it was the key to unlocking your potential? Because the truth is, it is. Everything you want to achieve, whether it's success in your career, better relationships, more creativity, or just feeling happier, depends on your energy. And your energy depends on how you treat your body. If you're exhausted all the time, how can you expect to perform at your best? If you're constantly sluggish, distracted, or burned out, how can you expect to stay focused on your goals? Look at the most successful people in any industry, the ones who lead, innovate, and inspire. They don't just work hard, they prioritize their health, not because they're obsessed with fitness, but because they know that their energy is their most valuable resource. It's not about looking a certain way. It's about feeling a certain way. It's about waking up with clarity instead of brain fog. It's about having the stamina to push through long days without crashing. It's about being present for the people who matter most instead of feeling drained and distracted. Health is the foundation. And the problem is most people treat it like an afterthought. They wait until something goes wrong. They wait until they're exhausted, overweight, or facing a health scare. Then suddenly it becomes urgent. Then suddenly they wish they had paid attention sooner, but by then they're playing catch up. The goal isn't to wait until you have to focus on your health. The goal is to never let it get to that point. So how do you shift your mindset? How do you stop seeing health as an obligation and start seeing it as a strategy? First, redefine success. Forget the idea that health is about six-pack abs or running marathons. Those things might be great for some people, but they're not the point. The point is to feel strong, energized, and capable. The point is to have the stamina to chase your goals without burning out, to wake up feeling ready, not exhausted, to have the mental clarity to make better decisions. Because when your body is in survival mode, when you're running on caffeine, processed food, and 4 hours of sleep, you can't expect to perform at your highest level. Second, stop thinking in extremes. Most people approach health as an all-or-nothing game. They either follow a strict diet or they eat whatever they want. They either work out 6 days a week or they don't work out at all. But that's why they fail. Health isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about making small choices every day that add up over time. You don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle, you just need to start making better choices. One at a time. Sleep 30 minutes earlier. Drink more water. Move your body in a way that feels good instead of forcing yourself into workouts you hate. Because the truth is, you don't need a gym membership to be healthy. You don't need a diet plan. You just need to take care of yourself in a way that is sustainable. The goal isn't to suffer through workouts. The goal is to move your body in a way that makes you feel alive. The goal isn't to starve yourself to lose weight. The goal is to fuel your body with foods that give you energy instead of draining it. And the goal isn't to treat sleep as optional. The goal is to protect it because without it, your brain and body cannot function at their best. Third, make it personal. Forget what works for other people. Find what works for you. Some people love lifting weights. Others prefer yoga. Some feel best with early morning workouts. Others prefer evening. Some thrive on plant-based diets. Others feel they're best with a mix of everything. There is no single right way. The only right way is the one you can sustain. The one that makes you feel good, not just physically, but mentally. Because at the end of the day, health isn't about rules. It's about freedom. It's about having the freedom to live life fully instead of being held back by exhaustion, stress, or preventable illness. It's about having the energy to show up for your career, your family, your passions, not just for a few weeks, but for decades. And most importantly, it's about taking ownership of your body and your mind before life forces you to. Because here's the reality, if you don't prioritize your health now, you will be forced to prioritize illness later. There is no avoiding it, but the good news is, you don't have to wait for a wake-up call. You can start now, today, with small intentional choices that compound over time. So as you set your goals for 2025, don't put health at the bottom of your list. Don't treat it as something you'll get to when you have time. Make it the foundation. Because when you do, everything else, your ambitions, your relationships, your happiness, will thrive because of it. And when you look back at 2025, don't just see progress in your work or your finances, see progress in your energy, your mindset, your strength, because success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about how you feel while achieving it. And nothing feels better than knowing you have the energy, clarity, and strength to take on anything life throws at you. So don't make health an obligation. Make it your strategy. And watch how everything in your life changes because of it. Success means nothing in isolation. No matter how much you achieve, how much money you make, or how high you climb, it will feel empty if you don't have people to share it with. Yet in the pursuit of goals, too many people neglect the very thing that makes life meaningful, relationships. They assume that friendships, family, and deep connections will always be there. that people will understand when they get too busy, that they can reconnect later, but time doesn't wait. Relationships don't survive on autopilot. And the painful truth is, many people only realize this when it's too late, when they've already drifted from the people who once mattered most. Think about it. How often do you find yourself saying, I should call them, but never do? How many moments have passed where you were physically present but mentally elsewhere, scrolling through your phone, half listening to a conversation? How many people in your life do you truly know beyond surface level interactions? We live in a world more connected than ever, yet loneliness is at an all-time high. People have thousands of followers but no one to turn to when things get tough. They get likes on their posts but feel invisible in real life. They attend meetings, events, and social gatherings, but still feel like no one really sees them. Because connection isn't about proximity, it's about presence. It's about making people feel valued, heard, and understood. And if there's one goal worth setting in 2025, it's to strengthen the relationships that matter. Because at the end of the day, no one looks back on their life and wishes they had spent more time working late at the office, scrolling social media, or chasing validation from strangers. They wish they had spent more time with the people who truly mattered. So how do you do that? How do you invest in relationships in a way that's meaningful, not just obligatory? First, be intentional. Relationships don't grow by accident. You don't just wake up one day with deep, fulfilling connections. They require effort, time, and presence. That means reaching out not just when you need something, but simply to check in. It means showing up for people, not just when it's convenient, but when it matters most. It means listening, not just to respond, but to understand. It's easy to assume people know we care, that our friends know we appreciate them, that our family knows we love them. But unspoken appreciation is often unheard. Make it a habit to tell people what they mean to you. Don't assume they know. A simple message, a phone call, or even an unexpected compliment can strengthen a bond in ways you don't even realize. Second, protect your inner circle. Not all relationships deserve equal time and energy. Some people lift you up, others drain you. Some push you toward growth, others hold you back. One of the most important decisions you can make is who you allow into your closest space. Ask yourself, do the people around me challenge me to be better? Do they support my growth? Do they bring positivity into my life? Or do they make me doubt myself, drain my energy, and keep me stuck? The people closest to you influence your mindset, your habits, and your potential. If you're surrounded by negativity, it doesn't matter how motivated you are, you'll always feel weighed down. But when you surround yourself with people who believe in you, who push you to dream bigger, who remind you of your worth even when you forget, it changes everything. This doesn't mean cutting people off without reason, but it does mean setting boundaries. It means recognizing when a relationship is no longer healthy and having the courage to step away when necessary. Because life is too short to spend it around people who don't genuinely support and uplift you. Third, be fully present. We live in a world of distractions. Phones buzz with notifications. Work demands attention at all hours. It's easy to be in the same room as someone but not truly be there. But real connection happens in the moments when we are fully engaged. When we put the phone down, look someone in the eye and actually listen. When we stop treating conversations as something to get through and start treating them as opportunities to deepen understanding. The greatest gift you can give someone is your presence, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Next time you sit down with someone, whether it's a friend, a partner, or a family member, ask yourself, am I really here? Am I giving this person my full attention? Or am I half distracted, thinking about my to-do list, glancing at my phone, or mentally rushing to the next thing? Presence is rare in today's world, and that's exactly why it's so powerful. Fourth, embrace difficult conversations. Too many relationships break not because of big betrayals, but because of small, unspoken frustrations that pile up over time. People avoid hard conversations, hoping issues will resolve themselves. But silence doesn't solve problems, it creates distance. If someone matters to you, don't let misunderstandings linger. Don't let small resentments build. Have the conversation, express your feelings, ask the tough questions. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it requires vulnerability, but honesty deepens relationships in a way that surface-level interactions never will. And finally, Don't wait. One of the biggest regrets people have is assuming they'll always have more time, that they'll call tomorrow, that they'll visit next month, that they'll reconnect someday. But someday isn't guaranteed. Life moves fast, people drift apart, and too often we realize the importance of a relationship only when it's too late. So don't wait. Call the friend you haven't spoken to in years. Apologize if you need to. Say I love you more often. Show up for people, not just in the big moments, but in the small ones. Because at the end of the day, success, money, and accomplishments mean nothing if you have no one to share them with. What makes a life truly rich isn't what you achieve, it's who you share it with. And when you look back on 2025, let it be a year where you didn't just chase goals, but a year where you built deeper, stronger, more meaningful connections. Because in the end, that's what really matters. Most people go through life on autopilot. They wake up, go through the motions, check things off their to-do list, and fall into bed exhausted, only to do it all over again the next day. They're busy but not fulfilled. They accomplish things, but they don't feel deeply connected to why they're doing it. And then one day they look back and wonder, was this it? Was this what life was supposed to be? The problem isn't a lack of ambition or effort, it's a lack of alignment. Because fulfillment doesn't come from just achieving goals. It comes from achieving goals that actually matter to you. Too many people chase the wrong things. They follow paths that were laid out for them by someone else, by society, by family, by expectations they never questioned. They pursue careers that look good on paper but drain them. They work tirelessly to reach milestones that once achieved feel empty, not because they aren't capable, but because they never took the time to ask, is this truly what I want? There's a difference between success and fulfillment. Success is achieving something. Fulfillment is achieving something that aligns with who you truly are. One is external, the other is internal. The world is filled with successful people who are miserable. People who have the title, the money, the house, the car, and yet feel a deep emptiness they can't explain. Because success without meaning is a hollow victory. So if there's one thing worth prioritizing in 2025, it's this: live with intention. Be deliberate about the life you're creating. Be intentional about the things you pursue, the people you surround yourself with, and the way you spend your time. Because if you don't decide what matters to you, the world will decide for you. The first step to living with intention is getting clear on what truly matters. Most people have never actually sat down and defined what a meaningful life looks like to them. They chase goals out of habit without questioning whether those goals actually align with who they are. But clarity isn't something that magically appears. It's something you create. Ask yourself, what kind of life do I actually want to build? What impact do I want to have? What values do I want to live by? Strip away what you think you should want. Forget what society tells you success looks like. Forget the expectations you've absorbed from others. What actually matters to you? If you never ask these questions, now's the time. Because until you define what a meaningful life looks like, you'll spend your days chasing things that don't actually bring you meaning. Once you have clarity, the next step is alignment. Because knowing what matters is one thing. Living in a way that reflects it is another. Too often, people say they value one thing, but live in a way that contradicts it. They say they want more time with family, but work every weekend. They say they want to prioritize health, but always push it aside for later. They say they want to do work that inspires them, but never take action to pursue it. Your life is shaped not by what you say you value, but by what you actually prioritize. If you want to live with intention, your daily choices need to reflect what matters to you. Look at your calendar. Look at how you spend your days. Do your actions align with your values, or are you unintentionally building a life that isn't actually what you want? Living with intention means making conscious choices. It means saying no to things that don't align with your purpose. It means not getting swept up in busyness and distractions that pull you away from what truly matters. And sometimes it means making hard choices. It might mean leaving a job that looks good on the outside but drains your soul. It might mean setting boundaries with people who don't support your growth. It might mean stepping into uncertainty because the safe, predictable path isn't the right one for you. It's not always easy, but the alternative is worse. Waking up years from now and realizing you lived a life that wasn't really yours. To live with intention, you also have to be present. Because it's not just about what you do, It's about how you could have a meaningful career, but if you're always rushing, always distracted, always focused on the next thing, you won't actually feel fulfilled. You could have incredible relationships, but if you're not fully present in your moments with people, you always feel disconnected. Living with intention means slowing down enough to actually experience your life. It means being present in conversations instead of thinking about what's next. It means appreciating the small, beautiful moments instead of rushing past them. It means recognizing that life isn't just about what you achieve, it's about how you experience the journey. And finally, living with intention requires courage, because when you start living deliberately, you'll face resistance. Not everyone will understand. Some people will question your choices. Some will judge. Some will try to pull you back into the status quo. That's normal, because most people don't live with intention. They follow the path of least resistance. They do what's expected. They choose comfort over meaning. But if you want a life that's truly yours, you have to be willing to make choices that others might not understand. You have to be willing to disappoint people who want you to stay the same. You have to be willing to take risks, even when they scare you. Because at the end of the day, this is your life. No one else is responsible for making it meaningful. No one else will look back and feel the regrets you might feel. You have to own your choices. You have to create your own meaning. So as you step into 2025, don't just set goals, set intentions. Don't just chase success, chase meaning. Don't just go through the motions. Live in a way that reflects what truly matters to you. Because success is fleeting. But a life lived with intention, that's a life with no regrets. Most people spend their lives reacting. They wake up and check their phones before they even get out of bed, responding to messages, emails, and notifications. Their days are shaped by obligations, meetings they didn't choose, tasks they feel obligated to do, expectations they never question. They go through the motions, always busy, always exhausted, but never truly fulfilled. And then they wonder, why does it feel like something is missing? Because they're living by default instead of by design. The difference between a life that feels purposeful and one that feels empty isn't luck. It's not intelligence, talent, or external success. It's intention. It's the ability to consciously choose how you live, rather than simply responding to whatever comes your way. Most people assume that meaning will just happen. That if they work hard enough, achieve enough, or wait long enough, they'll wake up one day and feel fulfilled. But fulfillment isn't something you stumble upon, it's something you create. And the only way to create it is to live with intention. That means deciding, really deciding, what kind of life you want to build. It means getting crystal clear on what truly matters to you, and shaping your days around those priorities. It means learning to say no to distractions, obligations, and expectations that pull you away from your deeper purpose. Because if you don't define what matters, the world will do it for you. Society will tell you that success means money, status, and constant productivity. Social media will make you feel like you're always behind, like you need to do more, be more, achieve more. Other people will project their fears, doubts, and expectations onto you, subtly pressuring you to follow the same path they did. But none of that leads to a life that feels meaningful. Meaning comes from alignment when your actions, values, and goals are all moving in the same direction. When the way you spend your time reflects what actually matters to you. When you wake up each morning knowing you are living with purpose, not just checking off tasks. And alignment doesn't happen by accident, it requires intention. The first step is awareness. Most people never actually stop to ask themselves, is this the life I want? They assume that because they're busy, they're moving forward. But motion isn't the same as progress. Busyness isn't the same as purpose. What do you actually value? Not what you've been told to value. Not what looks impressive to others. But what genuinely fulfills you. For some, it's deep relationships and connection. For others, it's creative expression. For some, it's impact, making a difference in the world. And for others, it's personal growth, pushing themselves to become the best version of who they can be. Whatever it is, define it, write it down, get specific. Because when you're clear on what matters, decision-making becomes easier. You stop wasting time on things that don't align with your values. You stop chasing goals that don't actually fulfill you. And that's where most people struggle. They say they value health, but their actions say otherwise. They say they want time with family, but they're always too busy. They say they want a meaningful career, but they stay in jobs that drain them. The truth is, if you're not actively designing your life, you're unconsciously letting someone else design it for you. And that's a dangerous place to be, because if you don't take control, life will pass you by. You'll wake up one day and realize that the things you truly cared about got pushed aside for later. You'll look back and wonder where the time went, why you never pursued what really mattered, why you spent so much energy on things that didn't bring you joy. And the scariest part, you can never get that time back. That's why intention isn't optional, it's essential. Living with intention means protecting your time. It means saying no often. It means being ruthless about cutting out distractions and obligations that don't serve you, not because you're selfish, but because every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your purpose, you are saying no to something that does. It also means being present, because life isn't just about what you do, it's about how you experience it. You can have a job you love, but if you're always rushing through it, always looking at the next thing, always distracted, you won't actually feel fulfilled. You can have wonderful relationships, but if you're not fully present in your time with people, if you're always on your phone, always thinking about work, always somewhere else mentally, those relationships will still feel empty. Living with intention means slowing down enough to actually experience your life. It means appreciating the small moments, the morning sunlight, the laughter of someone you love, the satisfaction of a deep conversation, the joy of creating something just for the sake of it, because meaning isn't found in massive achievements. It's found in how you show up every single day. And finally, living with intention requires courage. Because when you start living this way, when you stop doing things just because they're expected, when you start making choices based on what truly fulfills you, you will face resistance. People will question your decisions. Some might criticize you. Others might not understand. And that's okay. Most people live reactively. They follow the path of least resistance. They choose comfort over growth, expectations over authenticity. But if you want a life that feels deeply fulfilling, you have to be willing to live differently. You have to be willing to disappoint some people. You have to be willing to take risks. You have to be willing to stand by your values even when others don't get it. Because at the end of the day, no one else is responsible for your fulfillment. No one else will look back at your life and feel your regrets. No one else will live with the consequences of the choices you made or didn't make. You are the one who has to live with it. So choose wisely as you step into 2025. Don't just set goals, set intentions. Don't just chase success, chase meaning. Don't just react to life, design it. Because a meaningful life doesn't happen by accident, it happens by choice. And the time to make that choice is now.